Hey there everyone, Shannon here, and excited to share with you just a little nugget about leadership and the things that God's been speaking to me in my leadership role here at the Well. I find that almost every time Pastor Jerry asks me to communicate in any kind of area, it's usually a chance for God to really speak to me and remind me of things that are important for ministry. So as we kick off into 2025 and we've gotten through the holidays, I really just felt like it was important to lean back into communication and what that means as leaders, what our expectations are in communication, and why it's so important. I really believe that communication is a cornerstone in our ministry lives and in any area of leadership. I've received a lot of nuggets about leadership and communication over my more than a decade of ministry experience. But one thing that always was stuck with me was from a friend of mine who said, "Your ministry will rise and fall with your prayer life." I wrote that on an index card the first time that I ever heard it, and I kept it by my desk for years and years and years. And God reminded me of that. But this last couple of weeks, thinking about this lesson was really telling me that your ministry will rise and fall with your communication style or your communication consistency. Because communication is the thing that connects people, that aligns people in vision, and it's the thing that we need to discover to do our best with the people that God has given us to lead. So there's a thing that I've been thinking about whether or not people are a part of our ministry or whether they're a piece of our ministry. And I got this sense that God was saying, when things have pieces, they're easily broken apart and replaceable, or they can be removed easily. And when something is intrinsically a part of something, they're more woven into the very fabric of what it needs to survive. And so this idea that people should be a part of what we're doing and not just a piece of what we're doing. And we want to make sure that our communication really is saying that to people, letting them know that you're really a part of this. So there's two things that I believe communication is the basis for in ministry. One, I believe that the way we communicate should be biblically structured. We see in Exodus 4:15 and 16, God is speaking to Moses. Moses has gone on about the fact that he doesn't speak well, that he doesn't think he's a good communicator, and there's a little frustration with God, from God towards Moses, and he gets angry. It says that Moses is really questioning his own ability to do it when God has already asked him to do it. And in verse 14, he brings in Aaron. God says, "Fine, bring in Aaron, and I'm going to speak to both of you." And verse 15, he says, "Talk to him and put the words in his mouth. I will be with both of you as you speak, and I will instruct you both in what to do. Aaron will be your spokesman to the people. He will be your mouthpiece, and you will stand in the place of God for him, telling him what to say." So we see in the nation of Israel, we see it in the life of Jesus, we see it over and over and over again with Nehemiah, where God has given a vision or a mission to one person and then has them gather people around them to help them accomplish that mission. And the mission that God has given is communicated through that one person or through a few people, and it's this trickle down of communication. And so we see our setup that same way. We know that Pastor Jerry's been given a mission and a vision to reach the people of Chicagoland and love them into deeper levels of relationship with Jesus Christ. So we trust that God is speaking to Pastor Jerry. Pastor Jerry speaks to the staff and the elder board as he gathers us every week in our meetings. And we believe it's our job to communicate that vision, the important things of our ministry to our coaches to our leaders and assistant leaders, and so on to as many Wellers as we can. Over 60% of our people are on teams or in groups. And so we do believe that the healthiest way for communication to come from the top down is through one-on-one conversation or through consistent communication from our leadership. Most of our people should not be getting their information first from stage page or from the splash or from social media, but should be getting it through this chain of command in communication that we have. And I believe that that is a biblical structure, the same way that Jesus had his few disciples who were commissioned to be sent out to share the good news, to go and teach things to the next people who will pass them on and pass them on. And so we want to make sure that we are doing that in our lives, in our leadership ministries, and the places that God has asked us to stand, that we're making sure any information that we get every week, we are sending on so that people know what's happening. And so we believe that biblical structure for leadership is healthy and good. And so I want to encourage you, if in the holidays or the beginning of the year, getting back to school and back into regular rhythms after 21 days of prayer, you know there are places where you have just lost some of that regular rhythm or lost some of that calendar structure for your communication. I want to encourage you to get back into those places where you know this is the day that I'm going to reach out to this person. This is the day I'm going to send this email. I'm going to make sure our people know what's going on to the best detail that I can, so that they feel really ready and equipped to serve. And that's the second thing that I think is important about communication, is that it really does inform the way people see themselves in our organization, in our ministry structure. When people are getting consistent communication that's informative and helpful, first, they feel seen. They feel like they really are an important part of it, like their leaders thought of them, wanted them to know things, spent time and intention writing the right email with the right vision, casting the right mission for us to be walking out in our individual teams and groups, and what that means for the way that we're serving. We want to make sure that in every communication we're finding time to make sure Jesus is the first, middle, and end, to make sure to love people and give thanks to people, to make sure that we are learning the lessons we need to learn so that the next thing is bigger and better. And we always want to make sure we communicate with our people as well. So all of our core values really threading through our communication is important. And that's what makes our people and our groups and our teams feel like they are a part of something and not just a piece of something that's being done in and around them or with them. They're not being used for something, but they're invited to be a part of something. And the second thing I think that our teams feel the most when they get good communication that's consistent and solid is they feel equipped and confident to do the things they're asked to do. We never want people to feel like they don't have the information they need. We never want people to feel like they didn't know what was happening. We want everyone on our teams, everyone in our groups to be able to confidently answer questions to any weller that asks them, or anyone in the community that has questions, because we are communicating so well. And so if communication is something that you struggle with, it was never my forte as a young kid in ministry. I'm very relational, I'm very outgoing, I'm very extroverted, and I don't love administrative things or computers or emails. I love the one-on-one, but in order to keep my ministry healthy and my leadership relationships solid, I needed to set up structures that helped me communicate weekly with my teams, to make sure they hear from me, to make sure they have an avenue to reach back out to me. And so those are the things that I believe we need to be pressing in on, finding the things that work for us, and make sure our people are receiving consistent and accurate communication as often as they need it. It also works the other way too. We want to hear from the dream teamer or the group member back up the pipeline for struggles or prayer requests or information that we need to know, all the way back up through the leadership spectrum. And so as much as we want information to be traveling down the pipeline of our leadership structure, we also want it to be climbing back up. So all of these things work together to make communication a tool that we get to use to make our ministry lives more excellent, to make our leadership relationships more effective. And so I want to invite you to lean in and figure out what works best for you as a leader. We're so thankful for you. We're so grateful that God has allowed us to do ministry with you. And so we are excited for 2025 and all the things that God has in store for us. We love you, leaders. Thank you.